we have seen hiding in plain sight behavior by Trump that is profiteering behavior that would have felled anybody else. Almost 60
Unbelievable.
years ago, 50 years ago, Jimmy Carter had to put his poor little peanut farm in a blind trust so he could run for president. And now we have the business that Trump has been doing on the public's business overseas, doing his personal business at his golf courses, accepting a secondhand jet from Qatar. And a story this week said that the money to refurbish that is probably going to be coming in part from a fund that's supposed to be refurbishing Minuteman missile silos for our nuclear arsenal. At what point, or have we gone past outrage that America will never be capable of official shame anymore? Or is this too something that will be rebuilt, if at all, over decades?
Oh, I think it can be rebuilt. Look, we've had a lot of bad things in our history, and things have gotten worse on, let's say, race relations, especially in the South between, I don't know, 1880, let's say, and 1920, 1930, and horrible things happened. And eventually, there was a reaction, and there was legislation, and there were brave people who took it on. And so, no, I think, and after Watergate, there was actually a pretty big reaction, and a lot of norms were established and laws were passed, which were pretty healthy and have kept things less bad for the last 40, 50 years. But now those have all collapsed. But I think you make you hint at a very important point, which is the assault is across the board. It's an assault on all the standards we had against corruption. It's an assault on the rule of law. It's an assault on the judges and the courts. We've seen that very recently. It's an assault on having a Justice Department that is cushioned off, separated off to some degree from the president's personal will. It's obviously the assaults on the universities and so forth. So it's all happening. And that is how successful authoritarians tend to operate. They sort of see that if you try to go you might think, gee, it's better to focus on one or two or three things. It's easier, but it's actually the opposite. The more you go after everything, the harder it is for the opposition, for civil society, for the pro-democracy forces to get their balance. And you're fighting here one moment and here another, and there are 150 court cases you're trying to manage, and resources get strapped, and people decide, I just 4 years is a long time. Maybe it's better to accommodate now. So yeah, the breadth of the authoritarian assault is dangerous.
We're about to go to some of your questions, and you can put those in the Q&A box, and we'll get to them with Bill Kristol. But before we do, I want to get your assessment on what you make about how Trump has been handling Putin and Netanyahu recently. He looks like he's tougher. It's not 50 days now. It's maybe 2 weeks for Putin to come around. And with Netanyahu, you've got to feed the people of Gaza. How serious is this? How much of it is theater? And will he even remember tomorrow what he said yesterday?
Yeah, we don't know. I personally am pleased that he's learned maybe for a while some lessons to be of skepticism and Putin, and maybe he can do a little more and to help stabilize and resolve even the situation in Gaza. But if you go back and forth and you change your mind every 2, 3 days, of course, I'll welcome the fact if he's changing his mind in the right direction. But ultimately, it's not a serious foreign policy. Ultimately, foreign leaders look at it and think, you know what, I'm just going to wait a week or two, and he'll go in a different direction. They're not stupid. And other foreign leaders who want to be on our side, who want to work with us, think, I don't know, he could just turn around tomorrow. So are we going to spend a lot of time doing this? So when you're the world leader and you go into this kind of sort of chaotic and willful foreign policy, when you don't see the importance of long-term relationships and long-term strategies and policies, everyone else also has to kind of react to go into kind of a defensive crouch, and it's not good. I mean, I hope there's much less damage than I feared there might be, and it may be that we get a little lucky, honestly, and he decides he can't trust Putin and he doesn't sell out Ukraine as much as I thought he might 6 months ago, and gives Ukraine a little more time to fight and to do well, and gives Europe a little more time to react. But I wish I wish one could count on it more. But I would say that is one of the areas where I think it's been a little less. I mean, February, March, it just looked like we were just pulling out of the world order and it was all going to kind of collapse. I think that's been less. It's gone less dramatically in that direction than I feared it would. But I still worry. Yeah.
Next week, we have Madeline Brand talking with Jonathan Weissman about American anti-Semitism, being Jewish in the age of Trump, a topic we just touched on briefly here. And after that, Ron Brownstein with Larry Mantle about life during wartime, politics in an age of convulsion. You can get the newsletter, follow everything that we are doing here. I'm Pat Morris, and I thank you so much for joining us this evening.